So you've had your fun with the Fifine SC3. Now it's time to move up to the Fifine SC8. Techie gamers in your disgusting little faces out there. Those of you who enjoyed the awesome functionality and budget reality of the SC3, you may want to jump up to this Fifine SC8. Well, why? For one, obviously it's an upgrade because Fifine probably took their notes from the SC3 and some of the things that it lacked and dumped those lacking things right into here. So we're going to look at what this awesome little thing, and hopefully is awesome, has to offer in terms of, well, in terms of a competitor, because there are little mixers out there, $40, $50, $60, that have standard stuff like Bluetooth and loopback and noise reduction buttons. Let's see if they've taken notes from their SC3, which did not have any of those things, and push those things into the SC8 for just a few more bucks, right? That price right there you see in your face, Techie gamers. And let's see what we get in our box for that money. And my guess is that you probably will want to. This is a crispy new box. I haven't opened it up yet, so we're gonna experience this together. You and I, T-Y, what? Unity. But off the rip, in typical fashion, I hope most things come like this. You get your instructions because you want to know what you're getting in your box for your bucks. Box and bucks is also what it's all about. Big poster size instructions in case you've never used a mixer in your life. Get yourself right. Looking at the specs here real quick. Signal to noise ratio is 75 dB, so pretty decent. So the microphone input is 25 hertz to 25 kilohertz. It does support 16 to 24 bit. Okay. Pretty cool. We're just gonna put this to the side and go through it in typical fashion the way I usually do it. Hands on what the normal user experience is gonna be when you open up the box. Most people probably not gonna read the entirety of the instructions. They just wanna dig into the product like we're gonna dig into it right now. Cool, the way they have that set up with the little holes for where your buttons are gonna be. And we have our mixer like such in the box. Looks pretty cool. Techie gamers, dig your eyeball sockets into that right there. And I see there are a couple of extra things taking place here that definitely the SC3 does not have. So we're in for a treat here. It is significantly bigger and thicker than the SC3 in your wide open mouth. So take a look at that SC8 and look at the size just for comparison. Next to the little baby SC3, pretty small if you look at these two side by side, right? But they both have that nice matte plastic cover body. And well, the thickness, the SC8 is a little bit thicker. Look at that bad boy, just ever so slightly thicker, and a couple more ports I'm seeing there as well. So let's dig into this mixer right away. First impressions out the box, feeling it in hand. It's actually kind of cool. I don't know why they have these little grips here on the side there, but it's easy to pick up off the table if you wanted to move it, and it's not laying flat flush. And I do appreciate that it does have a wedge, so it kind of will lean towards you and face you on your table. It's about the same kind of wedge that the maybe just a little bit bigger actually. A little bit bigger wedge there than the SC3. Let's look at the front buttons because this is what we're going to be facing most of the time when we're using it. Looking at those front buttons there, Techie gamers, you see we have our game chat knob there for your microphone, right? And your in-game audio, which is cool. The output button next to that, which will be for your final output. Make sure you have that going right. Otherwise you have the incorrect audio levels going to your final output or your final stream or final recording. Then we have here on the bottom there, we have an aux. So that's going to be for our aux in, and your mic volume here. And I see there are lights and stuff. Pretty cool. And then we have mic monitor button, 48 volts, 7.1 audio channels, right? So that's probably going to be virtual. EQ, that's going to be interesting. Okay, let's see what those EQ sounds like. And you have 4 custom buttons. And right here you have your voice changer, which I guess is kind of cool. The voice changers are actually pretty good on the Fifine mixers, so that's pretty cool. I do see auto tune up there at the top. So we have some auto tune. We have some, what? Megaphone. Okay, I don't know if that's going to be a megaphone special effect, but there are a lot of voices here. There are 7. They're even included in the additional one. Okay. And then you have your gain level monitors here for your headphone monitoring as well as for your mic monitoring. Okay, let's look at what we got on the back of this bad boy. on the back of that device. Let's look real closely and focus our camera. We have our XLR port, obviously, for connecting XLR mic. We have the condenser and dynamic switch there. I think the headset may also include headset mic combo, which probably will cancel out the XLR. Aux in for audio jack in, headphone for headphone monitoring, optical in. So that's another input. We can get some more audio via optical. Pretty cool. OTG, of course, for connecting to your computer, your PC. And you have a PC and PS4. Interesting that they put the PC and PS4 when we're already like on PS5, probably upgrading from PS5 to PS6. So I guess that will support from PS4 and up, I'm presuming. And the RGB button to play with your RGB lights. Okay, a couple of interesting choices there on the back. Optical, I guess that's cool. I don't know how many of us out here actually using optical on a mixer. I probably would have just taken another aux port in, but okay. Optical. I guess you get that from like a TV or some other source that has optical capabilities for higher fidelity audio. Cool. And the PC PS4 switch. Not sure how I feel about that yet. And then you have this cool little white thing here, which I propose is going to be your RGB lighting. More things left in the box, which were at the bottom. We don't need the box anymore. Chuck it to the side like that. Looks like we get a nice cool aux cable in your face. Tech Easy Gamers, look at that in your face real close as possible. Can I get closer? So we get a TRS to TRS audio jack cable for getting audio into your mixer. They are accommodating us with the USB-C and USB-A cable, and that also converts from USB-C to USB-C. It's pretty cool, and it is tethered by that plastic little thing that I hate so much. It's super tight. There you go, USB-C to USB-C. Cool lettuce and tomatoes. I don't know, I'm just hungry again. So just so that we see what the animation is when we plug it in, because this doesn't have a power button, we'll just plug in the USB-C, and it requires a USB-C connection to a computer to get power, just like the SC3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, nice prolonged startup animation with the light on the bottom lighting up as well. A nice close-up shot so you can see what that looks like in your nasty mouth. One other cool thing you can do with this mixer that I did not realize is that you can mute your output, aux, and your mic simply by pressing the button in. That's right, these are also clickable buttons and not allow click at all. And you mute the mic, click it, unmute it, mute the aux in or the line in, and you can mute your entire output. That's right, all 3 of them if you like, which is pretty cool. All right, Tech Easy Gamers, here we are with our desktop and our mixer. And I have the Tank 1 running through this particular device. Okay, now the levels are pretty high here in OBS. I'm tapping into the red from the yellow, and it looks like the mic levels here are pretty much matching that. When I speak up, it goes into the yellow, almost tapping into the red. So pretty true to the actual level or audio level gain, and my monitoring is all the way up because I want to hear the full levels. The monitoring sounds good when you're up close, but when you're back, I wouldn't say it's full real time. There's a 0.2 seconds of delay. It's almost like gives you like a little bit of a slight echo, but nothing unbearable. Okay, so off the rip, these are basic self-explanatory buttons as you look at them. Chat and game, right? You switch the game, you want to hear game, switch to chat. If you just want to do chat, down the middle to have both going. And there is a super strong notch right there, right in the middle. When you hit it, it clicks and it gets stuck there. So you don't worry about that not being directly in the middle. You'll know when it's in the middle. This is the final output. I can lower that down and I get my output to be pretty low in my recording or my stream. So be careful with your output. And we have mic, of course, I have it blasting to 100%. And you can totally lower that down if it's too loud, which I kind of think it's a little bit loud. So I'm going to lower it a little bit just to get gain under control here and not tap too much into the red. Okay, this seems like it's okay right here. And last but not least, you got your aux controls for getting audio into your device via one of the aux ports here. Well, the one and only aux in port. Well, actually, you have an optical in. That one aux knob here is going to control both levels of that audio, those dual audio streams. So mic monitor off when it's blue, but when it's lit up white, that's when you know it's on. So white seems to be the on indicator here. Okay, 48 volts, you don't need that for this particular microphone, the Tank 1 by Fifine. Now I noticed when I plugged it in, it was set to condenser and it was low, and I was a little behooved as to why it was so low. I said, what's wrong with this mixer? It's already broken out of box. Nope. If you put it on condenser, it kind of reduces the amount of gain it's providing to your microphone. Okay, and then we have a 7.1 audio surround sound thing here. When I click it, it turns it on. I don't notice anything from my voice talking, but perhaps if you're hearing something through your output, for example, it will create some kind of 7.1 to your stream or to your recording, for example. So maybe I'll get some music going to check that out in a second. Okay, abracadabra sounds. We have some custom buttons, but first let's go to the EQ. This is the one I'm most curious about because Fifine has not had any real EQ options or capabilities in terms of software. And it looks like there's a game EQ, there's a music EQ, and then there's like what is that? I guess for movie EQ? I don't know, it's like a film reel there. So let's click that EQ button. I can't even hear any difference between these three. Pressing it again, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm just monitoring through the mixer and all three sounds the same to me. So yeah, and then it's off. Okay, maybe in recording it sounds different. Okay, take us again. Here's the 7.1 sound. Turning it on. EQ for the 7.1. Game. More bassy. Next one. Off. We have auto tune. So right now we have the voice changer off. If we press it, does it tell me which one it is? It's auto tune. So there's just only one function for auto tune. So at least it provides you some kind of my voice cracks like I'm in water. Some kind of auto tune. Ooh, it's pretty harsh. And if I can't sing and I try to hit a note, it's gonna try to compensate for the notes that I can't hit. Okay. Next up
is elder. And if you're an elder or older man like me and you want to impart some wisdom to your fans, and you can, and you can be a whiny old man. Moving right along, we have monster. It just applies tons and tons of bass and slowing down that pain. Next up is robot.
Next up is megaphone. I guess megaphone just takes out all of your bass completely. There's a little bit of a delay with the voice changes, a little bit more delay, 0.05 perhaps seconds. So yeah, this is megaphone. Everyone shut up.
This is a baby. I guess kids have higher pitched voices, but sounds more like an elf. More or less. Okay, let's go to female.
This is female. It's a lower or high pitch, but not as high as baby. And if you're a man trying to make yourself sound like a female, it's not going to sound like a female. You'll have to raise the pitch of your actual voice like this. So if I raise the pitch of my voice now, I can sound more like a female. Ooh, that sounds creepy. My God. Don't marry that woman. What?
Next up is male. So if I have a high-pitched voice, then I can sound like a male, and it'll make a deeper pitch, and I just sound like I'm weird. That's the male voice, and then we go
back to auto-tune, and I think it's just
gonna cycle through all of them.
So to turn it off, you
gotta hold it for a few seconds, and then it goes off, and it goes to your RGB colors. Speaking of RGB, see what happens if we cycle through some of these RGB settings. Okay, we get some cool effects here. Looks like it's transitioning from one color to the next, cycling through the buttons. That's kind of cool. And the main button here also changes as well. Click it again. We got what's going on here? Okay, it looks like it's cycling between just like a purple and red. It's just like going in circles there, and this is flashing. Okay, see what else kind of creative ways they can get with their RGB. And this is this is all the colors actually. And then we're gonna go back to looks like it's doing a fade in and fade out, and it's probably gonna fade to the next color. Yep, pretty cool. Fading gradations there. Switching to the next, we got a blue fading gradation. Okay, so you're gonna get, oh no, this is a slow transition. Okay, so it's transitioning from one color to the next. Cool. Then we got red, solid colors. So you're probably going to get solid colors going on here on out. You got a solid yellow, orangish, green, dark green, blue, darker blue, pinkish, kind of pink magenta kind of color. And oh, what's this? Okay, in case you wanted some strobing, you got strobe lights, kind of cool. And then we go back to our original RGB rotation there. Custom buttons here in your swollen throat, techies and gamers. They have not been doing good with their custom button audio quality. So let's see if they've done something to improve that. Maybe they listened to one of my videos because I complained about it recently. We'll test with custom button A. Okay, I guess you have to kind of hold it for a few seconds, just talk your smack, and then do a backflip, and then come back, and then let go of the button. Let's see what happens. Hold it for a few seconds, just talk your smack, and then do a backflip, and then come back, and then... Okay, so two things. One, the audio quality is now improved. I like that. Thank you, Fifine, for listening to that. This is going to be a lot more usable now, and probably a good selling point for this mixer, with the quality of this custom button sounding fantastic. And you just hold it for a few seconds. It doesn't light up right away, but it starts recording right away. So I noticed there was a delay with the way it lights up. It's a little off, threw me off at first, right? So for a few seconds, it doesn't light up right away, but it starts recording right away. So as I hold the button initially, it doesn't light up white. There was a slight delay with the light lighting up and the actual time it started recording. Let it go. That was a long time. See, so when I press it, it actually caught the initial piece of my audio before it lit up to record, to show that it's recording. There's no white light growing. Then it comes, see, and then it starts like 2-3 seconds acting like it's recording. And I don't know how long it's going to record for, but there, okay. How about this button? Start the recording right away. Now it lights up. See, there was like 2-3 seconds before it started recording, and you let it go. It just stops recording automatically. Press it again. Start the recording right away. Now it lights up. See, there was like 2-3 seconds before. Yeah, so just be mindful that as soon as you hold it, it's going to start recording right away, and then it lights up in delay. But the audio quality is really good. Okay, thank you, Fifine, for that. See, Fifine listens to us out here, us content creators, you guys out there in the comments. They pay attention. They're always active and live in the comments, trying to troubleshoot and answer questions or dilemmas or any problems that people have. So I give them credit for being very active and trying to make the best products that they can make and solutions for our audio or our audio problems, sometimes that things that we don't like about it. There you have it, techies and gamers, the Fifine SC8. What do you think about this device? I'm going to tell you what I think about it. It is definitely a minor upgrade from the SC3. Yes, it has a few, probably just a little bit more than a few things that are actually a bit better than what the SC3 is giving you. Right? So for one, I can tell you off the rip that the voice changers, this additional, these are all good. They are probably the same quality as the SC3. It does include auto tune, which the SC3 does not include. So you have that feature. You have an additional voice. You have a chat switch here, which is also good. So this is geared towards gamers, right? For gaming. So it's a basic gaming mixer. Mic controls aux. It also has an additional input here for the optical, which is fine. And it also has this PS4. When I switched to PS4, it cut my audio off. So make sure you're not on the PS4 if you're on PC, because your audio actually cuts off. The dynamic condenser switch is also a nice welcomed addition. The improvement of the voice quality of the custom buttons is an improvement from the SC3. Definitely pretty nice. The RGB is kind of the same, it's neither here nor there. I do like this 7.1 audio introduction here, virtual 7.1. And the EQ here is not the EQ for your voice or for your mic, which I was kind of hoping it was, or maybe there was an option there that it was and make the mic sound a little bit different from what it sounds like out of box. And if you wanted to adjust the mic EQ here real quick, you could do it. But this is for aux audio, the audio coming into your mixer and out for your audience or others to hear for music, as I've demonstrated. So either whether it's 7.1 or not, this will make the audio sound a bit better depending on the mode. This music one here is pretty cool. It's pretty bassy, right? That's a nice bassy. You need a little bit more bass in the music you're streaming through your mixer. This one's a little bit more subdued, right? Subdues the high end. And then this one is more like stereo sound. It really opens up those channels. So I like this one here as well. You got some music audio EQ. But overall, I think those are probably the general improvements with this mixer coming from the SC3 to the SC8. Is it worth the upgrade from the SC3 to the SC8? I don't know. If you need an additional aux input, it has that on the back there because, well, they didn't give you Bluetooth with this one, so, but they did give you an additional optical, a very niche specific optical input. I don't know how you would connect like your MacBook or a phone, for example, through the optical. You have to use some kind of conversion, which defeats the purpose of the optical audio quality. So, okay, you can connect the TV or monitor, I don't know, another PC to connect to this for dual PC streaming, possibly. I think that could be the biggest pro for that. If you're doing dual PC, you have an optical and you have an aux. Okay, the monitoring is pretty much the same as the SC3. Slight delay, 0.2, 0.3, 3 milliseconds of delay, slightly noticeable, not a game changer, not a reason not to get this device, unless you're gonna listen to yourself all the time, which is pretty weird. And as you can tell, like, I've been talking the whole time and I haven't really been having an issue talking, so the delay is not bad at all. Okay, these indicators here are kind of true to life. They are matching what I'm seeing in OBS for the most part. When I tap the yellow and close to the red, it kind of just mimics that's just about the same. It might be a couple of dials down short, but it's close enough. The only real con I might say is that it may not be as big of an upgrade from the SC3 to SC8. But if you don't have a mixer and you're looking to get into creating content like this, or gaming content, for example, this is a gaming mixer, so it has a lot of the basic gaming features you need outside of not having Bluetooth, not having a loop back feature, not having a ducking option, right? Like some of the other more budget mixers have. So you're missing those options, unfortunately. There's no noise suppression switch on this mixer, which is something you get with something like the likes of the Mono G1 Neo. I have noise suppression going on a software level, so that's why this just sounds okay. But if I turn off that noise suppression, now you hear a little bit of noise, a little bit of fans, a little bit of ambient noise. It's relatively quiet in here, but if you're gaming and you're streaming and you want some noise suppression, you can add that through the likes of OBS, for example. They do a software-based noise suppression, which in my opinion tends to be way better than any of these mixer hardware-based noise suppression. I like these buttons. The notch right there in the center is really nice and clicky. It will get stuck right there. It's pretty good. Let me know what you think about the SC8 in your face. I think it's pretty cool. It looks pretty nice and sleek and modern. Has a couple of extra added features to it that you could utilize in your gaming, in your streaming, your content creation. So yes, it's a slight upgrade from the SC3. Shouts out to Fifine for providing this device free of charge to share with all my takers and gamers out there looking to upgrade your studio or even just begin to create a studio environment for your content creation. All right, and with that, I'll see you in the next awesome video. See you later.